Only on CBS this morning, two men who say that Michael Jackson sexually abused them as children are opening up about their experiences with the pop icon. Wade Robson and James Safechuck are featured in an explosive new documentary that premieres this weekend on HBO. Both men also sued the Jackson estate, but their lawsuits were dismissed because of the statute of limitations. They are appealing that. Jackson has always denied any inappropriate behavior with children. Robson and Safechuck told us about their relationships with Jackson, including very graphic allegations of abuse. A warning here, some of these details are quite disturbing. Before you all met Michael Jackson, what did he mean to you?
I saw the making of Thriller, just instantly became obsessed. I wanted to be just like, and I dressed like him every day and did my hair and had my hair permed to look like him and, all that stuff.
I wasn't necessarily a big fan. And then when I got the commercial,
Mr. Jackson?
They did
Pepsi commercial.
Yeah, the Pepsi commercial. When You See Me Meet Him is actually my first time seeing him. At that point I was pretty excited. It was otherworldly, I guess.
James Safechuck and Wade Robson discuss the intimate details of their relationships with Michael Jackson.
Everybody wanted to meet Michael or be with Michael.
In the upcoming HBO documentary, Leaving Neverland. That's the name of Jackson's ranch, where Robson claims 7 years of sexual abuse with the world-famous performer first began.
I mean, this was just the most magical thing I'd ever seen. And that first night, Michael kind of took us on a little bit of a tour, and he said to me and my sister, you can stay in one of the guest rooms or you can stay in here with me if you want. And my reaction was, of course I want to stay with you. We had one more night that way. Myself and my family were going to leave and go on another kind of vacation to the Grand Canyon. Mm-hmm. I was devastated to leave Michael. Michael was devastated for me to leave. He actually sobbed.
So you got to stay.
So I got to stay. And so it was just Michael and I in Neverland for the next week.
And your parents allowed that?
My parents allowed that.
Mm-hmm.
Within either the first or second night of Michael and I being alone at Neverland, the night started changing. One of the ways I remember it starting is, Michael just sort of starting to touch my legs and touch my crotch over my pants. It progressed to him performing oral sex on me, him showing me how to perform oral sex on him.
Did it scare you? Did you think it was wrong?
The couple days prior to the abuse starting, he started touching me, just in the sense of hand on my leg, lots of hugs, kissing my forehead, rubbing my hands. So there'd been this kind of development of physical closeness that was happening already that felt like a father. It just felt amazing. As Michael started doing these sexual acts, he started talking to me about God brought us together. We love each other, and this is how we
love each other.
We love each other, and this is how we show each other our love.
James, you're nodding in agreement to what he's saying. Tell me what happened to you.
He introduced me to masturbation. He said I taught him how to French kiss. And then it moves on to oral sex. But
Are you frightened or thinking this is weird or wrong?
No, it's in the context of a loving, close relationship. There's no alarm bells going off in your head or any thoughts like that. Really, it's just, I love this person and we're trying to make each other happy. He said I was his first, but even as a kid, you don't even know what that means. So you're lovers and you're best friends.
What does that mean, James? You're in a relationship and you're lovers. You're a little boy.
Right.
And he's a 30-something man, and you're a little boy. Because at that age, how do you even know what that means?
Well, you don't. You just feel really connected to someone, and you just love them intensely.
The public in general thinks it's violent, that it's very painful, but what you're describing is totally the opposite of that.
I mean, he didn't beat me. He didn't, he never said mean things to me. It was all, we love each other.
In spite of what they're claiming today, in 1993, both Robson and Safechuck denied being molested by Jackson when allegations were brought by another boy, Jordan Chandler. That case settled out of court. You all both tell a very descriptive story about, sexual activity with Michael Jackson, yet when you were asked to testify in 2005, And Wade, you did. You got on the stand and you testified in his behalf and vehemently denied that any sexual activity had taken place.
Yes.
Why did you do that?
The training, Michael's training of me to testify began the first night that he started abusing me. He started telling me that if anybody else ever finds out, we'll both go to jail. Both of our lives will be over.
The 2005 criminal trial of Michael Jackson centered on molestation charges brought by child cancer survivor named Gavin Arvizo. Court testimony shows that from the stand, Wade Robson denied ever kissing, showering, or even cuddling with Jackson. You know, they credit your testimony in part for Michael's acquittal. You know, you were called really a star witness. You withstood a blistering cross-examination, and he was acquitted. On some level, do you feel guilty about that now? Do you think about that?
Yeah, I do think about that. I have, and I do. I wish that I was ready. I wish that I could have helped Gavin Arvizo receive some justice and some validation for what happened to him. That was just like what happened to me and just like what happened to James. And I wish that I could have played a role in, at that point, stopping Michael from abusing however many other kids he did after that.
Do you think that there are others out there?
I do think there are others out there. But I also don't expect them to just come out now that we're coming out. It's such a difficult thing to do, to come out. You have to do it when you're ready.
I'm using the Michael Jackson filter. They got some of these filters. This is a diddly doo-dah diddly day, a sign of the times. A lot of diddlers running buck wild out there. Hee hee. Anyway. Like, I feel bad for these guys because people still don't believe these mofos. I went back to a normal filter because people might be triggered. I'm just saying. Either way, whether they're sycophants or they're people that believe Michael Jackson could have been a pedo, either way, people can be triggered because everything's a trigger nowadays, just saying. But anyway, but I feel bad for these guys because no one, still people don't believe them. I mean, you can see in the comments, people are like, it's easy to accuse a dead man who can't defend himself. The parents just wanted money. Who could leave their 7-year-old with a 30-year-old man? It's just the money and fame. I don't understand leaving your kid with a stranger, rich or poor. Y'all really waited for this man to die to switch up. I'm so glad people in the comments aren't blind. What a pair of charlatans. Can we just pull out the lie detector test? Suspicious they only showed up after his death, though. Lies for money, fame, and to cover up other wrongdoings. Letting kids sleep with him in his bed, there's no way anybody can persuade me that that's right. So it's either one or the other. This proves adults are sick enough to place a child in a situation to get money. Not saying it did or didn't happen, just that parents of these children knew what they were doing. When young men get sexually abused, it's still hard to find justice for them. I normally side with victims, but this doesn't feel right. I'm not even a big Michael Jackson fan. These guys are adults now and had the courage to come out, and people still don't believe them. You know, I had 3 diddle attempts on me before the age of 12, and no one believed me either. Like, no one believes you. Like, no one believes the victims. Especially if you're dealing with a celebrity, you know? It takes just like insane amounts of evidence to come out when it's literally looking us in the face. It's like this is a painting. So this was a painting that like Michael Jackson had in his studio. I mean, it's literally of him naked, surrounded by a whole bunch of naked little male cherubs. I'm like, really? I mean, he was like going around like parading his young boys as like his boyfriends. Like in his mind, I think he had like legitimate relationships with them, and he couldn't see that young kids can't even understand this. Like he's saying like, oh, you're my lovers, you're my best friend. We're like, it's like literally just in our faces. And because we're so sycophantic around celebrities, we can't even see this, And like literally he has paintings like this in his music studio. I don't know. I mean, people they can't hold nuance anymore. They can't acknowledge that you can be a musical genius and a pedophile at the same time. You can be a great person in some areas of your life and have major human faults in other areas. They can't accommodate this. They're like, I loved Thriller. It was one of my favorite albums growing up. He can't be a pedo. Those guys are charlatans. I mean, they always do that. That's why no one believes victims, especially in celebrity abuse cases. People often disbelieve victims in celebrity sex abuse cases due to a combination of factors, including the perpetrator's public image and power, the victim's potential lack of corroborating evidence, and cultural biases like the just world hypothesis and the tendency to believe rape myths. Additionally, abusers may use the DARVO, deny, attack, reverse victim, and offender tactic, where they deny wrongdoing, attack the victim's credibility, and portray themselves as the real victim, which is amplified in high-profile cases through public relations and media. And especially that's a tactic that these high-powered legal teams that these celebrities can hire. That's a total tactic that they do. Perpetrators' public image and power. It can be difficult for people to reconcile the reality that a beloved or admired celebrity could be an abuser. Celebrities' power, wealth, and influence could lead them to being granted immense credibility, making it hard for victims to be believed. DARVO tactic, the psychological manipulation tactic of DARVO, or deny, attack, reverse victim, and offender, is often used by abusers. In celebrity cases, this can become a public relations strategy to discredit the victim by portraying them as attention-seeking, vindictive, unstable. Cultural bias, rape myths. Society has a tendency to perpetuate rape myths, such as the idea that victims exaggerate their claims or misinterpret events. Just world hypothesis. This belief suggests that good things happen to good people, implying that if something bad happened to you, you must have done something to deserve it. Lack of corroboration. In some cases, the absence of corroborating evidence is used to discredit the victim's story. This is especially challenging in situations involving a power imbalance, such as employer-employee or celebrity-fan relationship, which is like the Michael Jackson case was like a prime example of this, the P. Diddy case. So many of them where these high-profile celebrities use the power imbalance to their advantage. Victims may be afraid of being shamed, blamed, or retaliated against for speaking out. The public humiliation and backlash that victims of celebrities often face can discourage them from coming forward. Difficulty in processing reality. The public finds it hard to accept that someone they admire has committed abuse, and these biases can contribute to the silence and disbelief victims face. I mean, it even happened in the Buddhist cult I was in. There's like sycophants in that whole arena too, because it happens on smaller scales in different communities. And like I said, like gurus or cult guru god kings in that milieu. And people are like, no, he's an enlightened cult guru god king. He couldn't molest a woman. He couldn't do that. He's doing it because of crazy wisdom. He's molesting women and sexually manipulating them for decades because it's a crazy wisdom tactic to help them gain enlightenment. I mean, just it just goes on and on. It's like, and then it goes on for 30 plus years. All these other people get diddled and traumatized because of this shit, because people can't hold nuance. They can't acknowledge that you can be both, like in Bill Cosby's case, he was a comedic genius. Michael Jackson, he was a musical genius. You can be a genius and a pedophile at the same time. That's usually more how reality works than not just saying.
How many of you thought Bill Cosby was going to be your mentor? That's a lot of hands. Can I go to you, Lily? You thought Bill Cosby was mentoring you initially.
Oh, yeah. I didn't think that. I knew that.
It's Actress Lily Bernard appeared on The Cosby Show. Lily says Cosby won her trust. One night in 1990, she says, he offered her a drink.
He said, "Drink it, Bernard, drink it." And very quickly, the room started spinning.
Lily says she became incapacitated and Cosby raped her.
And then the next memory, I'm on the floor, on the carpet. And I remember the sensation of the carpet against the flesh of my back, like Velcro, like this. And it hurt, and I couldn't move because of the drugs. And I remember him on top of me. I passed out again. My next memory is there's cold water splashing on my chest. You know, he was bathing me. And I woke to the cold water splashing on my chest. And I still was really groggy and like a noodle, like a wet noodle. He pulled me to the edge of the bed, and because I couldn't, he was pulling on my stockings very quickly and took me to a car.
Their accounts are so intimate, so disturbing, and many here say they still aren't sure what happened to them. But this summer, excerpts of a long-sealed deposition from the Constant case were released. In it, Cosby was asked, when you got the Quaaludes, was it in your mind that you were going to use these Quaaludes for young women that you wanted to have sex with? He answered, yes. He was asked, did you ever give any of those young women the Quaaludes without their knowledge? And his lawyer told him not to answer.
I was a bartender at Harris Casino in Reno, and he was performing there. A cocktail waitress asked me if I would like to go to a party at Bill's. He was having a pizza party, and I said, sure. Mr. Cosby offered me a drug, and I believe it was Quaaludes, he said. I can't remember exactly. And I took one, and he said, no, you could take two. It'll be fine. He and I sat down to play a game of backgammon, and all I remember saying was, this game is not fair anymore. And he said, why not? And I said, I can't see the board any longer. And I face planted, and that was the last thing I remembered until I woke up.
Where do you wake up?
I woke up on a couch, and I realized then that my blouse had been unbuttoned and my pants and my jeans were unbuttoned and unzipped. And he started fondling me. He ended up helping me up off the couch and to a bedroom. And then the next thing I remember was I woke up in the morning naked in bed with him. Had stickiness in between my legs. I don't remember the act that night. I know it happened just from the next morning, but I was pretty much blacked out. So even if I wanted him to stop, I was unable to say something.
The agent called me, said somebody in the entertainment industry would like to mentor promising young talent, and then they let me know this is Bill Cosby. We're going to Reno because that's where he's showing. When I got there, he answered the door. He handed me a script and said, let's try a cold read. And I said, okay. And I'm reading the script, and this person I'm supposed to read is intoxicated. So I gave it my best shot, and it's not that impressed. He brings me a glass of Chablis, and he said, this is your prop. Just sip on it, and let's try it again. I think I took one sip. I don't remember any more than one sip. And I think it's because I didn't drink. Whatever was in that glass was so powerful. I don't remember the rest of the scene, at the page. I do remember him saying something like, are you beginning to feel the part now? I don't have any visual memories.
What's the next thing you remember?
I remember waking up on a bed with him forcing himself in my mouth.
He asks you to come to the Elvis Presley suite in Las Vegas at the Hilton.
Room 3000. Yeah. He was supposed to be talking to me about somebody from the Ford agency. And someone did come to that room. They took pictures of me. I had allergies, I had a cold. And he said, this is antihistamine. And he gave me a drink.
Were they pills?
It was a one blue capsule.
You take the pill, and what happened?
He kept asking me, was I okay? I was getting kind of off balance. And he says, come on. And he took me like this. My body felt like it wasn't my own. And I couldn't. He started pinching my breasts, and he was humping my leg, and I couldn't say stop.
This pisses me off. You know, like how many women had to come out for to finally freaking be believed, and only 5 women actually testified. Other women come out, but oh my God, so many people have to freaking come out for to be believed, and these people were years apart, had didn't know each other. And a lot of times when you hear, like with the same thing with Michael Jackson and all the boys that recalled their accounts, and the same thing with these women recalling what happened to them with Bill Cosby, the MO that these predators use is just, they use it on all the same tactics on all of their victims, you know? And again, no one believes the victims, you know? I mean, and unfortunately, there are, I think, far and fewer between cases where some women, psychopathic or narcissistic, manipulative women, will use, will accuse people of something that didn't happen. Like, I feel like I've seen that particularly in divorce cases, you know, where if you've got a narcissistic female that will use that tactic to gain leverage in divorce proceedings with their husband, where they're like, oh, the husband abused the kids and blah, blah, blah. It's usually the opposite, where like 100 women come out. Like, so many people had to come out, even with like Jimmy Savile. Like, oh my God. It just, and you know, and people just get like, they're just, that's why I call sycophants dick suckers. Because anytime you have a situation where you've got sycophants, whether in a political situation, a religious situation, a celebrity situation, someone's getting their dick sucked, and it's usually the celebrity. Because I don't trust any situation where you see sycophants, because it's a ripe, it creates ripe conditions for abuse, you know. And anytime you have sycophantry, there's an inability to hold nuance, you know, and no one can acknowledge, no one's held to account.
Tonight, as you can see, just really within the last couple of hours, I sat down exclusively with the biggest group of survivors and their family members brought together at the same time. Some of these people had never met each other before, including a woman who has never before come forward to share her story about the abuse she says she faced at the hands of Jeffrey Epstein. I want to play for you now my conversation with these individuals you're hearing for the very first time right here on NBC News Now. A show of hands here, if you or somebody you love was abused or trafficked by Jeffrey Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell. All of you. So given that, you are here together, the 9 of you in this room, in this, what feels like a show of solidarity. Why? Why did you decide to come here today? Jess?
I'm coming here because there's been a severe miscarriage of justice, a delay in accountability, and we've all come together beautifully and tragically, which feels healing and devastating all at the same time, to speak out and to be fueled by each other's voices in a way that I don't know that we've had the opportunity to in the past.
Mm-hmm. Beautifully said. Yeah. I'm here for the same reasons, but for me, the most important thing is accountability. My whole mission is to get somebody, or the majority of the people, to be held accountable for what they did and what we've all been suffering through for the last, 15, 20 years.
Marika, you're somebody who has spoken publicly about your experience before. Mm-hmm. What does it mean to you to be sitting alongside 8 other people in telling your story and in being here?
Today, I didn't think I would be here 6 years later from when I was here in 2019. I guess I'd just like to say that, I'm sorry, it's always a bit nerve-wracking to speak on camera like this, but I just want to say that the government has failed us. Maria Farmer reported this in 1996, and now there's a pending lawsuit where hopefully there will be some accountability.
Kind of beside myself that we're even having to do this again, because they never did what they should have done in the beginning. So now here we are having to do interviews like this to get our voices out there, because they didn't just listen to us the first time we said it.
That must feel frustrating. The idea of repeating, having to do this again and again. Did you ever think you'd have to?
No. I mean, in 2019, when I spoke up and went public on what had happened to me in 2003, at 14 years old, was something that I should have never had to have done in my life. It should have been taken care of and handled from the beginning and been investigated properly so we wouldn't have had to be at this point, you know? I should have never had to put my face on camera so that someone would listen to me.
Who are here representing your sister, Virginia Giuffre. Danny, Sky, what message does it send to be here with this group in this, what, as Liz described, this almost show of strength?
She should be here. I am so honored to be here with you guys. She would be here. She'd be screaming, you know. And I think, you know, they said it best. It's like, if I could really say what we're looking for out of this is justice, looking for accountability. And I think it's, you know, we really have to start questioning, what do we stand for?
I found this creepy, I couldn't find a Cosby filter, but I found this creepy Epstein filter. Yeah, I like molesting little girls. And I'm a rich, powerful psychopath that gets to do whatever I want forever. No one holds me to account. And I'm so psychopathic that no one's gonna put me in jail. I'm gonna either take myself out, because I'm not gonna fucking deal with my consequences. Because psychopaths never want to deal with their consequences. Or someone killed me. Some high-powered bitch that was also on my list killed me. Who knows? Okay, I'm going back to a less triggering filter. Because I know some people seeing these mofos can be triggering. Of course, with Epstein's case, he doesn't really have as many sycophants as Michael Jackson did or Cosby did. Because the celebrities, he wasn't a celebrity. He was just some psychopathic mathematical genius that was a pedo, stone cold pedo, right? And had high-powered people that he was probably blacklisting and bribing and whatever, and had videotapes, and I mean, even we see the association with Prince Andrew and all that, and he ingratiated himself into high-profile circles and whatnot, and I don't know, but so he didn't have the sycophantic celebrity aspect, but damn, it still took, especially with like little girls. No one freaking believes little girls, you know, and you've got this mega rich dude, you know, like people. That's why I'm glad like stuff like this is coming out and people are stepping up, because that's what it's going to take, because there's still a lot of high-powered predators running buck wild out there. I'm just saying, like, to this day, new ones come out all the time. I mean, even in the Buddhist community, every time you turn around, there's some other high-level tulku or lama that gets dethroned for sexual misconduct. I mean, it's just like, it's almost become cliche. That's what it's going to take. People being able to hold nuance, you know, and acknowledging that when shit comes out and people say stuff, to not just be like, oh, just blame the victim. Like, even if the victim was walking around butt naked, no one deserves to be raped or abused. Even if the victim is or walking around in slutty clothes or had a history of whatever, does not mean if in that instance that something happened to them that they deserve it or that they asked for this. You know, it's like